again to Marilyn Hawes, who has now recovered since our last programme. And I warned you, didn't you? It'll be 3 days at least
Oh,
before
I
you.
know, and I mean that. I mean, it was a bit of a shout, really, when I think I had only landed about 10 hours before, and there I was doing the show, and I looked it back yesterday, and I thought my eyes are like,
That's all right. Yes, it was interesting.
it was interesting.
But we're going to be more interesting because we're going to go in the deep end today, straight away. And this has been sort of brewing up inside me for donkey's ages. And it's come to fruition this last week, particularly. And when I saw what happened to Peter Kay,
Oh yeah,
who was bundled off the stage in that massive theatre, looked like a football ground.
it's huge.
It is huge in Birmingham, and there were thousands and thousands of people calmly walking out, and that's good British grit, if ever there was one. And I thought, yeah, it cannot go on, but it does go on. And I got to thinking, and listen, friends and enemies, we're not condemning one part of our kingdom in the United Kingdom, or disunited kingdom, if you wish. But something has got to be done about the Muslim invasion. And I will
Mm,
use that word,
mm.
even though was it Priti Patel or was it Suella Braverman that used that?
It was Priti Patel, wasn't it? And didn't she lose her job because she said we are
Yes, and she
undergoing an
was
invasion?
yeah, exactly, and absolutely right. It
She is
is an
right.
invasion,
Yes.
and we've got to do something about it. Look, we're fed up of going through the mill when we get on an aeroplane because of all the bombings and 9/11. Where did that come from? Was it the Christian church? Hardly, but they're not guiltless because the Christian church remained fudge, 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 like the governments, successive governments. Nothing is done. And our everyday life, whether we go to a Christmas market,
Mm.
whether we go just in our local shopping centre, whether we walk out at night, especially if you're a woman, whether we let our children go out at any time of the day. Our life has been turned top to bottom
100%.
and nothing is done about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I have sent you a video that I saw today. Horrendous, horrendous. It's a live footage of these Muslims, real thugs, coming out of a shopping centre with great big blades and all sorts of things and talking to the cameraman and going on. You hear the narrative and it's shocking. It really is shocking. And I can't remember who found the footage, but I've sent it to you because it needs to be shown. I think on one of your programs. This is just a 2 minute. I mean, it was Martin Daubney, I think it was. GB News had seen it and just said this is the most appalling, absolutely dreadful. And they've also one about after the Golders Green incident that they had one of the rabbis, nice guy, and he was talking about all what went on, taking some children over to Auschwitz and all of that and all of this. And he said there were whole Jewish communities that don't exist anymore, even today, not just from World War II, because Jews are still being attacked. And it's a very, very hugely, powerfully emotive recount that he gave. I mean, it's awful. It's just awful. And then you're looking at, I mean, it's no coincidence, is it? How many churches are being burnt? That can't be any coincidence. There's no coincidence at all. When have you last seen a church go up in flames? Hmm? There's
Yeah,
been about
and
five this week.
we had some figures that we divulged on one of our programs last week that the government are already giving money to these underprivileged religions. And three and a bit million was given to the Anglican Church, including the Sikhs and other smaller religions in terms of numbers in the United Kingdom, to hopefully rebuild the damage that's been done. 39 million
That's right.
has been given to mosques
Hmm.
who rarely get damaged, both
Exactly.
people
Exactly.
and building. And it is typical of what is happening throughout the country.
Mm.
Now, we've mentioned the things that cannot be done anymore. Let's concentrate on some figures. In the last 10 years, approximately, there have been 100 murders of terrorist nature. 97% have been committed by Islamic
Yes.
so-called extremists.
Yes. Yes.
3% have been committed by the average Brit. Forgive that expression, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is not highlighted. So we know where the problem is, but we daren't say it because we're Islamophobic. Well, we dare say it.
But the thing is, you've only got to look at the violence that they are emitting across the country. You
They've
see,
said, Marilyn, they should be now on their pedestals in the mosque and out the mosque saying, we've got to support these Jews because they're being attacked and
but
they will not open their mouths.
no,
That is utterly
it
shameless.
is dreadful. But I've read somewhere today as well that the imams are preaching hell and destruction to white people. That is, and they should be. If they were in Italy, they'd be ousky. Off you go. Bye bye. And a lot of stuff goes on in those mosques that is
There is
not good.
only Farage that has said there's 500,000 people here that have got to go back
Well, I'm
of this
100%.
nature, at least.
Absolutely,
Now, whether he
absolutely.
does anything when he's in power, if he's in power, but at least he's saying it.
Yes, at least he's saying it. And also, what was it I saw as well? There was something else. It'll come back to me in a minute. But I mean, it is. Oh yes, I saw in today that Starmer is considering, positively considering banning the pro-Palestine marches. What are you considering? Just ban it. Start from today. Why? What is there you need to consider?
Should have started years ago.
Absolutely should never been allowed. You should, I mean, I know we are a country where you can have a peaceful march. I frankly have never been on a march in my life. I don't see the point of it. I don't think it changes anything at all. I think you're better off doing an online petition and getting it to your MP and into government. I don't see the point of marches. I don't. But anything that can invoke any form of hate and uprising like that should never be allowed. It should never be allowed. And that is, I mean, I think they do. And then also, if they can't control people, they need to get the blooming army in.
Yes, I mean, America have got the answer, frankly, and that's
Yes,
their special guard that is
yes,
brought in
yes,
for occasions like this.
yes. And that's what we need to do. It's absolutely what we need to do. And it's dreadful. You see, but when you hear the narrative, these Muslim people are not hiding their narrative now. They're not hiding it. They
They're
are
not, they're actually
in broad
saying it.
daylight. They are saying what they intend to do to us in
They,
broad
they want
daylight.
to take over our country.
They do. But if we were to say anything about them, do you
Oh
imagine we'd
my
be?
goodness me.
I mean, look at Lucy
But
Connolly. One little tweet, and she was in prison for a year.
yes, as we mentioned on one of our programs yesterday, in fact, you can get in one of these marches, have hate banners, hate speech, be hooded, which is illegal, and come out with obscene language,
Yeah.
and you'll let go. You try closing your eyes within 300 yards of an abortion centre,
Hmm.
and you're banged up immediately.
And that is something else that we spoke about with the Family Education Trust yesterday was about abortions and mothers and all of this stuff. We talked about that as well and how the shock and horror they expressed about the full-term abortion. Now we talked about Lucy Letby as well, you see, in this discussion. And we were saying, well, Lucy Letby, those babies were very, very ill, a lot of them pre-prem. The maternity service units, Family Education Trust told me, are dirty, understaffed, lack of training. You can see how it could have happened, whether or not, she still referred to it as the alleged murders. But she said, quite honestly, if you saw the conditions in some of these places, but if you really, why are we going on about that? And yet, she said it's complete hypocrisy. You're allowed now. You can terminate your 40-week-old baby. Now, I had this discussion with my son-in-law when I was in Bermuda, lawyer, who said, no, 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 it's the criminalization of it. You will not. And now it's apparently the Family Education Trust said to me that nobody, even in the past, who was criminalized for aborting their child, those people also are going to have their conviction removed.
Yes.
I said, but I mean, I just said I can't think of anything more outrageous that a moment before or a moment after had that baby been born and you did that, it would be infanticide. What about? She said it's just. I have got the recording of it. I'm going to send it to you. But this is when we talked about the godliness or godlessness of Starmer. How you can allow that or even consider it being. But there's a move afoot now, apparently a policy trying to be discussed, so I was told, where no abortion will be illegal.
Yeah. It's not just in the United Kingdom, it is general, unfortunately, in much of Europe. You've got to realize this is globalism. You've got
Oh,
to
it is.
realize that where it's coming from, it started in 1929
Oh,
with
wow.
cultural Marxism.
Oh,
And the whole idea was to take over and is the world with Marxism. And
wow.
the two poisons of Marxism and radical Islamism, and they're right and left on the political scene, are coming together on the same side. We are in severe danger.
Oh, it's
We've
true.
got to do something. That will never happen under Starmer
No.
because he's part of it.
Oh, he's part, absolutely. And I also think Lindsay Hoyle is as well, to be honest. I think he's up to his neck in it. I think he's just as bad as anybody else.
Well,
Lindsay.
he's certainly no better than the last incumbent in that
No,
position.
no, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. But we were talking as well about how the government has been discussing that the birth rate has gone down, right? And we were sort of saying, well, if these full-term babies could then be adopted straight away, not wait till they're 2 years old and they've been
Exactly.
through 10 foster carers, then that would up the birth rate, wouldn't it? So you've got this being allowed and you've got that, oh, panicking, and then you've got Miriam Cates, who at this conference will be talking about how housing is, which quite, I couldn't work out how this worked, how housing is affecting fertility. And I said, please tell me, Lucy, how does this work? And she said, because parents who want a child, they want to live in a three-bedroom house, albeit terrace, it doesn't matter, with a garden space, right? And if they know they can't have that and they're never going to have it, and they're going to live in a flat or one bedroom, two bedroom, whatever, they're not going to have a baby. And that the housing developments that are being designed, whatever, are part of the problem. That people don't want children if they're going to be poked up in a tiny little flat. And then you've got the renters thing that bill that came into effect from the number of people who are landlords that have now sold and are selling. There's going to be a whole load more homelessness.
It's easy to say, where's the silver bullet? There isn't one.
There
It's
isn't
so
one.
complex, this, but it's all coming together for, as we keep saying, the perfect storm. And we've
Absolutely.
got it. And the feeling, even 2,000 miles away in southern Spain here, is palpable.
Yes.
Not only in Spain, in Britain, you've got people on the verge of revolting.
Yes. Yes. Are they
And
doing that?
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised, and I don't. I think it's the only way that I hate to say it, but I think it is the only way they're going to be heard, because they're not listening, and are they going to listen anymore? once they've had the elections next week. Are they? They're not listening. They are not interested in anything. They really are not. So Starmer goes off to belatedly to Golders Green, yeah, and yeah, he still hasn't replied to Siobhan White, whose daughter was murdered by that awful, awful person. Still hasn't replied to that. Still hasn't invited her to be seen, and yet he did go to Golders Green. He goes where it looks good.
Yeah, I would have been one there in the crowd booing, I'll tell you.
Oh, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for booing. I really don't blame them for booing. I think I could understand it completely. Completely. And I mean, that is something if I thought he was getting off a train in my local my local railway station, I'd be down there. I think it's, incredible. I can't see how he can ever turn around. I mean, I don't. I saw Dan Wootton had said that Mrs. Starmer and the boys have moved out. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but
Well, there usually is. Most of Dan's stuff
yeah,
is well researched,
yeah,
but time will tell on that one.
yeah, yeah. But
As it will, of course, on the what is a lot conspiracy. These three pretty boys burning down cars owned by the aforementioned Starmer, houses, etc. Now, if we were to believe in conspiracy, it's a slam, yes, isn't it? But we don't. We have to accept what the courts say.
Yeah, but we
But
can't know what the courts say, can we? Because there's a complete embargo on it.
exactly.
And then why?
But we
Why?
know why, don't we? We
Yeah, because
can't
it's
say
true.
why, but draw your own conclusions,
Because it's
folks.
true. And that's the point. If you don't let the truth come out
Mm.
and you're going to block the truth, human nature says, well, we all know why.
Well,
It's
yes, I
like,
mean, the judiciary, I'm sorry, we no longer trust lots of
exactly.
it.
It's,
Some are fantastic, but
yeah.
some are not fantastic.
Well, they're too lefty, aren't they? I mean, they're far too lefty.
It's
If you,
the elites that are controlling Great Britain and other countries.
yeah, yeah.
Don't you see, folks, or are you so interested in the next party? And I don't mean political party.
Do you get in Spain, do you get much like revolution type stuff like we're getting here, where people are marching through streets and
Yeah, there was a
complaining?
great march in Madrid, in the capital. This government is more left wing, believe it or not, than Britain. And people are, but again, Spanish politics is very complex. And something that springs to mind in all this is the Green Party in Britain. If you look what they stand for, I'm sorry, it is anti-Semitic. It is drugs for all. It is let everybody in the country. They are completely potty, and it was bad enough when they were like Ed Miliband and Truly Green. But now, how have they managed to brainwash so many,
I know,
particularly
I
young
know.
ladies, to vote? There's your problem, not Matt Zach.
I,
It's the people that are voting for him.
well, I mean, he needs to be sectioned. I mean, surely if you go around, are there that many idiots in the UK that think absolutely right? A woman can have a penis and a man can have a vagina. Are there that many stupid people that actually?
Which, of course, leads us on to the hate that exists towards Grand Britannia by the Europeans. Not all of
Yeah,
them, some of them love us, but it's growing and it's being fed by the European Union, who can't stand the fact that we Brexited and they're making us pay. We
yeah,
experience it all the time here,
yeah, yeah.
in that I often get people that want to send me books because we're going to do an interview with them. I said, no, no, no. We started by saying, go on, send us a book. But believe it or not, they find every way to penalise us here.
Wow.
And they will charge through the aduana, through the frontier, taxes like you wouldn't believe. It makes it four times. I might as well go to fly to Britain
Yeah.
and pick up a book from Waterstones
Yeah.
because it will be cheaper than what I'm charged.
Or charity shop. You can go. I don't think people read anymore. You can get some really good books in charity shops that you don't think have even been opened.
Well, well, look, I mean, Christmas time's a nightmare because I'm a chocoholic, and people know that. They send me a bar of chocolate from Britain, and it costs me a fortune. We
It
love you
does.
dearly.
No, it
But
does.
they do it deliberately. Now, what else they're doing deliberately? Well, at airports, as you will experience this summer, there's this EES scheme whereby it's digitalization. Oh, yes, again. And you've got to queue up and put your hands on a computer. It's all automated, but it don't work because it's a computer. Then eventually, if you're lucky, you arrive at an airport in Spain and you've got some manual features, and there Manuel is behind the desk and he will help you out if you're lucky. Take my tip, fly later in the evening or first thing in the morning when there's not the crowds, and then you will get through. But 4 hour and even double that delays can be experienced, and it's supposed to work better the next time because you're already registered. Yeah, and it gets worse. Spain have now decided, and don't forget, the biggest part of the economy in one way or another is tourism.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they have now decided that they don't like the Brits. And because they're in Europe and we aren't, they say, you got to prove during the 2 weeks of your holiday that you have enough money not to become a burden on the Spanish state. Now, you can see if somebody's coming to be resident here, they want to know that you're not going to turn up at the nearest NHS type hospital, Seguridad Social, here, and be a burden on the state. But to make that applicable to tourists, they want to know that in certain things they can say, how much have you got in your bank account? And all these piddling things go on the whole time in order to make it, in other words, we are being punished, folks. And if you don't believe me, ask the farmers and the
Oh, yeah.
fishermen,
Well,
and
it's the
they will
same
tell you
over
how
here,
they're,
isn't it? It's the
yeah.
same over here. I mean, the inheritance tax on farms is just outrageous. It is outrageous. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I wish the farmers would get their tractors out again and march through Whitehall. But see, that sort of protest,
Well, they have
I
in
think,
Ireland, don't forget. Well done, them.
yeah, in those sort of protests, I think have real credibility, to be honest. That this is their livelihood, this is their everything. I mean, we've got to look after our farmers, and that I can understand. That is a sort of protest I would probably go on because I believe in the farmers, but not these other idiots that go around with their face covered and waving flags and being totally obnoxious just because they want to be. That's part of it, isn't it? A lot of these people just want an excuse. They don't care what the reason is. Just get out there and be blah, 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 be a bit of a redneck. It's true though, isn't it? They're not all believing in the actual cause. So it's going
No,
to be
no.
interesting to see what happens, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next Thursday.
Well, I think we know what's going to happen, depends how big the disaster is. And it's highly unlikely that we'll have another prime minister before then. It's probably unlikely after then. They would sooner wait till the party conference in the autumn. That's the sort of betting shop odds that you've got on a change. Starmer will go. He has to go. Nobody can survive what he's gone through.
No, I mean it was interesting that on Five Live yesterday when I was driving around, John Major was interviewed, right? And he was saying it's not good for the economy to keep
No,
changing prime ministers.
no,
He said, but given this
he
one, I
should
think
know.
it's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, he's the expert.
I mean, if he wants to be remembered going forward, he will be remembered as the most hated one ever. I mean, I'm not really into politics, but I am now watching it, and I'm not someone that likes to have negative issues about people, but I cannot stand the man. I just cannot stand the man for what he's doing to the country, and all this rubbish about how he said when he first came into power, it was his personal mission to drop the cases of violence against women and girls. He's done nothing,
No,
absolutely
no.
nothing. And if that's how he really felt, he would meet Siobhan White to see her. Because I mean, that guy that murdered her daughter, he was a failed asylum seeker. What was he doing here in the first place?
Yeah, well, I'm already getting my Christmas boxes together, you'll be pleased to know. And I want to know who you would like in your Christmas box. And it's down to two. One is Sir Keir, of course, and the other is Sadiq Khan.
I
So
can't
which
bear
of
him.
those would you like?
Neither. Can't stand him. Can't stand him. And neither do I like Andy Burnham. He's another one. I don't like him. I think I don't like him. He, on the basis that he knew he had to know what was going on up there with Rochdale and the
Yes,
grooming gangs.
that's
He
perfectly
had
true.
to know.
Yes.
He could not, it can't be anything else other than that. And he has done nothing to help. On those grounds alone, I don't like him. I can't think of anyone on that front bench. And anyway, Burnham hasn't even been voted in as an MP yet, has he? So how can he be one?
Well, if he's
Um,
smart, he won't even go because the likelihood is he'll be not voted for. Back to square one. We've got to
I mean,
move
you look
on.
at the whole of that front bench, there's
So,
not one you would want to see
no.
in there. As for Miliband, oh, goodness me. I mean, honestly, what
Well,
a
you've not mentioned the lady in favour at the moment, of course, Ange.
stop, a campaign. Have you seen the campaign? Stop Ange. Well, I mean, honest to goodness me. I mean, she just is. There was some guy talking on the radio yesterday that, oh, she is hugely intelligent, but she's got no sense of dress code or professionalism. She looks like a slapper. I mean, she really does. I mean, honestly, she's atrocious. I don't care how good her brain is. Oh, what was it my mum used to say? You can't make a silk purse out of a pig's ear.
That's it. Sounds here.
And
Well,
it's
that's close
true.
enough for me.
But it's true. You can't take the uh her background out of her. It's there to see.
Well, we're talking about intelligence, and this is lauded by Labour. It's wonderful. She didn't get her GCSEs, but look where she is now. What?
They said, have you seen that one on Twitter that said that the only test she passed was a pregnancy test?
Oh my goodness me. Yes, we'll leave it at there before we get sued again. Right. And we'll go off to the NHS. And things can't go downhill. They're about to, because the medical staff at a Lancashire NHS trust has been told to stop using everyday language and English expressions such as it's raining cats and dogs.
It's
And the early bird catches the worm over concerns that I will quote here, they could cause offence to foreign patients.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I couldn't stop. I thought I'd misread it. When I first read it, I thought that cannot be true, surely. I mean, I don't, I can't remember the last time anybody said that. Most people say it's actually sing down.
Well,
No one, how many people say to you these days, oh, it's raining cats and dogs? I can't remember hearing that since I was a little girl. And where did that phrase come from? It's bonkers. It's ridiculous.
yes, well, the Lancashire Teaching Hospital Foundation, in this case, issued the directive as part of its, I quote, diversity and inclusion training program, arguing that such phrases lack cultural sensitivity. Now, I don't know
That is
which
woke.
finger you want to raise at this present.
That is woke on steroids. That is.
Yeah. Well, that's where we are.
Oh, I
That's
know,
where
I
all your
know.
money goes,
I
folks.
know, but you
In
see,
the
let
end.
me just. I'll tell you also somewhere I went the other day, which was a nice little find actually. I was invited to go to the University of Hertford, right? Now that's just outside Hatfield, and it's obviously it's an engineering, very keen on engineering, and it's like it's beautiful, beautiful university, so unbelievably clean, lovely. And I went to. And I say this now for anybody who's animal rights out there, right? Because I went to look at the animal research for medicine, okay? And I thought, oh, this would be interesting because, I'm massively fond of animals, and I've never really understood how they are treated in these labs. And they had rats, obviously, but they're not your horrible garden rats, your old Roland that's out there eating the birdseed. They are bred in the lab and they're cute little white things. But the welfare of those animals is extraordinary, really, really well kept. And they also, so did you know, I have to share this with the listening people, rats have 90% of our DNA.
Right, it doesn't surprise me in this
Yeah,
political
that they
climate. Go on.
are unbelievably, incredibly intelligent creatures. I mean, they give me the EBGBs. And then there was another lab that a groundworm, they're doing these experiments with Parkinson's, right? And giving them dopamine or taking dopamine out and then looking at their brains. And they had a rat's brain that they were finely slicing, where one side of the brain had dopamine, because that is the problem for Parkinson's, and the other side of the brain was absolutely bland, white, nothing at all, no evidence of it at all. But they were also doing research on groundworms, which are about that size, not earthworms, groundworms, and they have 40% of our DNA.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And the lifespan of a groundworm is 3 weeks. So by the time they've done this experiment to see what is actually happening to the worm, because the lack of dopamine is what causes the mobility problems, right? And then I went to another section because an engineering university. Oh my gosh, it was brilliant. They had all these robots and they're conditioning these robots. And you might have a dog, or you might have a little boy that's a robot, or a grown-up looking robot. And it is they're programming them and helping these robots to actually be able to go into the home of somebody who's got issues of mobility, or where they can have a robot that makes them a cup of tea, does this, does that. It's extraordinary. And one of these robots can actually play football. And they can program these robots according to what your needs are. It's
I bet one of them's called Keir Starmer.
what I didn't like to say. I was just sat there thinking, and they had these, visual. What do you call it? When you put the big goggles on,
Yeah, the virtual.
the virtual thing. I said, yeah, I'll have a go at that. So I put them on. It's really weird. And the people are watching you sort of like trying to build something and take it apart. And it looks like you're having some sort of fit. But it's what is good to know is that they are working all the time on engineering for people who have dementia, any mobility issues, and the different medications. And I said to them, "How are you hidden away here because of animal rights?" And I want them to come on my show with Heart and Soul, because I didn't know that there are incredibly stringent laws on these laboratories, that if you did not, and they have like what do you call, where somebody, just like an inspector, just arrives, unannounced, and everything. If you were anything wrong, if you weren't doing the medication right, if you weren't, once they've had the medication, if you weren't doing something to keep that animal uh, in a better space. You've done your experiment. Now you're going to try and reverse it and all of that. Anything. You put a foot wrong and you will lose your license. And it's illegal. There are really strong laws about animals in these situations. And I was pleased to hear that. And I said, I don't think animal rights movements know this. I really don't. So much of this stuff, although who wants to use them, it's not. I don't agree with it for making makeup and shampoo and that sort of stuff. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's wrong. But I do think for getting medication and getting that, how can you improve a human being's life? But you have got to maintain the well-being of that animal. And I certainly didn't know of the very, very strident and the notes that you have to make, and you got to document everything. Was actually good to see, and good to see that real progress is actually being made in this field of work. It was, and I just wanted to get out there that if you are an animal rights person, and want to go and burn a lab down, you're actually doing far more harm than the actual researchers are, because they have special people. They have the vets that come in. Vets have to come in and look at these animals and check that everything is being done properly. I was pleased to see it,
Well,
because
it
I never
sounds as
thought that
though they
happened.
get better treatment than the NHS. Behave
Yes,
yourself.
exactly. That did cross my mind.
We move on. And we're going to discuss the curse of earning more than £100,000 in United Kingdom. I can remember, I'm that ancient, in my first teaching post, I was earning £9 a week, and everybody had a goal, a target to earn £20 a week.
Yeah.
That was the, well, ambition of everybody in those days. £20 a week, you'd be well off, set for life, comfortable. Now it's 100,000. And if you think about it, two earners, of course, these days to get to that amount, but there is a cliff edge. Don't fall off it. It's not worth earning more. And certain medics, because they're paid a lot better than they would have you think,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
elect to only working 3, 4 days a week because that would take them over the cliff. What cliff? Well, if you analyse, if you have got a couple of kids, you get rid of your child benefit at 90 odd thousand. You also reach, I repeat, the cliff edge whereby you're paying 62% of whatever you
Yes.
earn to the government,
Yeah. Yeah.
including NI, of course, as well as your tax. There's no incentive any longer.
No, 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 there isn't. I mean, I can remember, it's funny, isn't it, that when I first started work, I was on £7, 12 and sixpence.
Overpaid, of course. Go on.
And I started actually working in a bank. And my goal was to earn as much as Mr. Davis, who was the bank manager, who earned £3,000 a year. And I thought, oh, that's amazing. And that was my goal.
Well, it was in 1842, let's be honest. A lot of money in those days. We listen, we're out of time. But we've got something to discuss before we. And it's something that, again, has got a wide reaching effect on the nation. We often mention GB News. There is good news about GB News, by the way. That wretched advert for the caravan and
Oh,
motorhome has finished. Thank goodness for that.
yeah, but they'll
It
start
comes on
another one
every
soon.
5 minutes and they shout the whole time. Oh, don't even go there.
There'll be another one soon.
Oh no, the other one started. It's 74. Well, 74,000, whatever it is. It goes down to 1 penny at the end. So we've got to put up with that. Are they that desperate for funds? Well, we've been doing a deep dive about our favourite television channel, GB News, and they've had a lot of misfortune. They've lost a lot of their presenters, or a lot of their presenters have been taken off them. You think about Dan Wootton, who's now
Yeah,
set up a very successful YouTube channel.
yeah,
You think about Mark Steen, who I particularly miss. I thought he was brilliant, but Ofcom didn't think so. And on the quiet, they were responsible. I accuse them. Okay, they can deny it, but they are. And lots of other presenters went the same way, and they were top people.
yeah.
And okay, they may have gone over the top, as we do occasionally, especially this morning. But, there are other things like dear old Eamon
Oh,
Holmes, who
yes.
sadly got a stroke. Fortunately, as we understand, it's not a severe one. But no doubt he'll get back in the fullness of time.
But
But
he's in a wheelchair, isn't he now?
yes, he is permanently, unfortunately. And he's suffered a lot. But they're losing presenters like nobody on earth. But who did they get back? Well, they've got dear old Sophie, the newsreader, who looks about 14, bless her. She's a bit older than that. And they've got her, and they had her on one day giving some important news about the economy of the country. Well, the gravitas was -6, but would you expect any different? She's learning her trade. Not her fault, but they had to shoehorn her in. And she's regularly on or irregularly on the morning lead show. And they're getting people in that have just not got the mileage. So you think, oh, what's happening
Girl I
here?
saw yesterday, that I know there was a girl yesterday. Now, who was she on with? Oh, Alex Armstrong, I think. And I thought, oh, who are you? I've not seen you before. And then there was another girl, this Olivia girl, who's been on for the last 3 months. And I was trying to think who has gone for that person to come in. Of course, Ben Leo has gone over to Washington, hasn't he? And Bev Turner is over there. So they've lost those two. But yeah, I think they're not quite as wealthy as.
Are
If you do
they
a deep
going
dive, they're
bump?
quite in
Now,
debt.
let me assure our audience, I don't think so. But one of the things in the trade, of course, is that no news channel makes any money. They never have done.
No.
It's so expensive to get a 24-hour news channel going. So it's a flagship channel. In GB News's case, actually, there are certain hidden facts for your entertainment. Number one, deep pockets are needed. And in GB News's case, it's been fudged, funded by a hedge fund. There's the
Oh,
fudge. And actually, the tycoon Sir Paul Marshall's behind that. And his deep pockets, together with a Dubai-based
oh,
Arab, Legatum Ventures, are putting in a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money. GB News lost 130 million pounds
yeah.
last year.
Mm,
Despite,
yeah.
I'm going to say, despite advertising, everybody's out to get them, and
I don't
they're
know.
advertised.
I've never understood how TV channels actually earn any money, unless I suppose it's the advertising people that pay you.
No, I mean, when I run a Sky channel, we received advertising. Very complex how it works out, but it is distributed from a number of ways on Sky. You tend to go to your favorite advertising agency, and then you are given a piece of the pie together with other channels of the same type. So if you're on a lifestyle channel, there's about a dozen on Sky, then you get a little piece of the pie. And you hopefully make some money. You don't make it very much money. None of the channels do, except the sports channels. But that's fairly obvious, I think. But in GB News's case, they lost 130 million, and the people that are backing them, let's call it an influence goal. These are influencers that want to get their side of the news out. And
Right.
this is where absolutely GB News is gaining. because you've never had British public that side of the news
No,
before.
no,
And you should have had. America have had it, many other countries have it. You've got the right, left, and centre.
exactly
Now,
right.
GB News is right of centre,
Yeah,
but it's got every right, as it never had before, or any other channel, to publish from that point of view.
yeah,
Newspapers have it, you know what the right is, you know what the left is, depending on whether you're reading The Guardian, The Sun, or even the Daily Star. Goodness knows where they are in there. But you know, you're getting, can I say a little teaser? And to illustrate, dear old Nigel, who's not on at the moment, of course, because an election is coming up, but he was on an average, probably only twice a week with the Farage show, and is receiving £400,000 a year.
wow.
Wow. I'd like a job like that.
So would
I
I.
certainly wasn't on that money, but that's what you have to pay for certain people. So millions of people now are worried that GB News are going bump. A, I do hope that they're not, and B, I don't think they are because they've got generous backers.
I don't think
That's
they
good.
will. I don't think they will. But I mean, what about Talk TV? How do they? What are they? You know, they're also one that goes out on. But then they are now on YouTube, aren't they? They don't. They're not on the
Well,
mainstream
you appear
anymore.
on Mike Graham's show quite
Right.
a lot,
Brilliant.
and we know about Mike, and um, literally, he was caught in a perfect storm. Figures dipped for his viewership 30%, but it wasn't his fault. It was just a combination of what particularly happened post-COVID. What happened with GP News, will blame them because they took a lot of their viewers and listeners. But there he was. It's a tough game. And he
Yes.
was off ski. He's
Yes.
doing very well.
Yeah.
And except when you appear on the show, of course. But no,
People like me, I have to tell you.
yeah, there's no accounting for taste. And I'm glad to see that they've got good taste. So there we go. It's like every industry, you've got to be on your toes,
Oh
haven't you?
yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I always say, like anything else, when I was doing teaching music, you're only as good as your last performance.
True. Before we finally go, let me say that things on toast, we always give a recipe section, don't we? A foodie section. And things on toast apparently are coming back big time. Don't be ashamed of it because it's blooming good.
That's
Let me
lovely.
give you a dead easy tip for a meal. It'll take you 10 minutes preparation, 10 minutes cooking, even if that, frankly. Get yourself a couple of whatever bread it turns you on. I have to have because of diet, um, gl gluten-free stuff. But also, if you get one that is properly done by a proper baker, it really is nice. Blooming expensive, but
Yes.
that's it. But sourdough is in favour at the moment. A slice of that on toast,
Right.
completely different from eating it normally. She's pulling her nose up now.
I just find it quite dry and heavy.
It is a bit heavy, that's true. And anyway, it won't be dry this one. And it's dead simple. And it really is so good for you. Get yourself some tiny tomatoes, vine tomatoes, they're called here. Don't know what they're called in Britain.
Yeah, same.
Cherry tomatoes, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Plum
Uh,
tomatoes, they're nice. They're slightly
yeah.
sweeter.
But the little ones are nice. Cut them in half, fry them in some olive oil quickly so that they're starting to turn and burn a little bit. And put in there some garlic, put in there some shallots, and maybe mild onions. We get a lot of sweet onions in Spain that are not strong.
Yeah.
Use those if you can. They're more expensive, but they're really nice and smooth. And don't forget the old parsley. And that's it. Stick them on the toast and then put some, in addition to the frying oil, put some extra virgin olive oil on top and treat yourself to some Parmesan cheese grated
Very
or
nice.
goat's cheese grated because that is nice and strong. She's pulling her tongue at me
No,
now.
I only eat goat's cheese. It smells like bad feet. I can't.
Well, try cheese.
I like feta cheese. That's the only one.
Oh, that's no cheese. It's useless. Doesn't taste of
Lovely.
anything.
I
She
love
likes
it.
that. And it's the feeling in the mouth. That's probably it. And we'll try sheep's cheese. Can't say sheep's cheese very quickly. And I tell you what, that's so simple to prepare.
Yeah.
And the biggest ingredient, which we have neglected, get yourself some tinned sardines, either in olive oil or in tomato sauce. Olive oil is probably better. And fry those with your cherry tomatoes. Just stick it on a piece of bread
Very
or
nice.
two pieces of bread for your lunch. And that is so healthy
Yeah.
and so tasty, you'll
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
wanting it again.
Nice. 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 I might do that.
There you go. Suggestions. Well, that's it, young lady. You can go and put your feet up now and still
I
recover.
wish. I wish I've got to wash the car.
Well, have you not got staff for that?
No.
End of conversation. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye bye.